Hey guys, welcome to Nine Links. This is your host Alex. Today, just gonna tell you guys a little tips on how to pot the plants into the ground and what's the best way to do so. And also, from my experience, the most what should I say, most successful way to do it, and also give the plant a lot less stress. Now, as you know, that I have quite a few plants that usually plant in a pot and move from the container to one second, move from the container to the ground. So these two, I already did a previous video. There's one over there. A sweet olive. They are very accustomed to the ground already. So first couple weeks, give it more water, and then after that, just leave it as it is. They're very drought tolerant. Just let them take care of themselves. Okay. Anyway, first step when you want to plant the container plants to the outside ground. You want to plant it in the ground. Now, some people will ask you to move all the potting mix and just bare roots and put it down, and then put the mix in there. And of course, you have to dig the hole first. And they recommend like 2 or 3 times the size of the original container. I typically just go up a little bit. If the container is about 3 inches, I will go up to 4 or 5 inches, not too big. The reason I do that is that I want the plant roots to go out into the native soil as soon as possible. When you do dig a hole and 3 or 4 times the original size and fill it with the potting mix and stuff, the potting mix and the container mix will not be the same, and the ground soil will not be the same. So you have a 1, 2, and 3 layer of different kind of soil. It's for the plants to adapt to all 3. It will take some time. So my approach is that when you plant it on the ground, let the plant expose to the ground soil as soon as possible. Have them adapted that way. That will make them grow roots easier into what I call native ground soil. That's one thing. Another thing is when you do pot it into the ground, try to disturb the root as less as possible. What I mean by that is that when you get the plant into the ground, I never ever remove the root balls. Like, I usually get the container out, get the plant out of the container, and then pot it directly in there. Maybe lose a little bit of roots on the side, maybe. Rarely doing that unless the roots is very, very tangled up. Like I say, I try to keep the roots as less stressful as possible. So when I pot it in there, because like I said, I do dig the hole just a tiny bit more than the container, so I can put some additive organic compost, or just I sometimes mix with a regular mix with the soil that I dug out from the ground. I mix those in and then put it on the side, so the plant's roots will expose to the ground soil a lot sooner. So that will help them root really easily on the ground. And also, the first tip is don't dig the size too big, and watch out for the potting mix. Second is don't disturb the roots. The third tip right now on the potting into the ground is that do not fertilize. Okay, do not fertilize. You can put a little bit of slow release fertilizer, but do not fertilize using liquid fertilizer right away. Okay, just let the plant settle in for a while, then start using fertilizer. And the fourth tip is that after you pot in, give it good watering, and that will help the roots get used to the soil. And for the first couple weeks, first week, try to water once, and then see if next day if it's still wet on the side. If not, water it again. So give it a little time for the water to drain down. And then the second week, only water about twice if possible. Just again, check your soil. So basically, you want the plants to slowly adapt to the native soil. Have them find the water themselves instead of you constantly providing the water. That way, the roots will grow out and seek the water, and they're more drought tolerant in the future. It's better health for the plant. And the fifth tip is that when you do water the first few weeks, watering, try to use a little bit of root hormone mixed with the water. I learned that tip from the online gardener. Root hormone basically stimulate the root growth. So the root will grow into the soil a lot quicker and also provide less shock. So that's yeah, that's about it, the 5 tips. And always, if you can, top it off with a little mulch to keep the moisture in. And the final tip, well, it's not really a planting tip, but I just use that. I do it once a month now. That I mix a little bit of baking soda. I have a gallon of one of those spray bottle. You can buy them Home Depot or eBay or Amazon. 1 gallon, about 3 teaspoons of baking soda and a couple drops of soap. So I do that once a month. So you can see I just finished doing it to the sweet olive. What it does is I spray it on the leaves. It does look like little, white flaky stuff on the leaf. This is normal. It's nothing damaging to the leaf. What it does is that it creates an alkaline environment on the leaves and stuff. It will prevent fungus infections and disease and stuff from getting into the plants. And if there are some on the plant leaf already, they will kill it, okay? And also, it will also deter bugs from staying on your plants. And as you can see, I use the same approach for all my plants, and also same kind of planting, guidelines. And so far, all my plants are doing very well. So from my experience, now you might ask on my second tip that don't disturb the roots. A lot of YouTube channel people will tell you when you plant it, make sure you lose the root ball from the potted container. I typically don't do that because think about it this way. Plants, these guys are very, very, what should I say, miracle, what should I say, they adapt to the nature very, very well. Their roots will find a way to break out of the root balls down there and take care of themselves. By losing up the root ball, yes, you do give them a faster chance to root down there, but at the same time, you cause a stress. And for a professional grower, gardener, you do that, you know how to take care of it, all the environment issues, and you know how to take care of the plants. The success rate of you planting into the ground and the plants, will stay alive is very high. But for a beginner, you tell them to stir the root balls and stuff, and just few factors missed here and there, they most likely will kill the plants. So my best advice, foolproof advice is that get out a container plant, stuck it into the ground, and start watering them. All right, that's it for today. Just a few tips on how to plant your plants into the ground from the container. Okay, take care.